is Dr. Ruth Pauline, and I'm here to encourage you. Today, I want to talk about a subject that has been so controversial. Recently, I was asked to do, or should I say, be a part of a study that was being done by a historical Black college. And I was very happy that I did because it caused me to research this subject a little bit deeper. And that is the strong Black woman narrative and the Black Christian church. So let's talk about it. Well, the intersection of the strong Black woman narrative and the Black Christian church is a complex and multifaceted issue, touching on cultural, social, and religious dimensions. The strong Black woman stereotype, which portrays Black women as resilient, self sufficient, and unbreakable, has both empowering and limiting implications. Within the context of the Black Christian church, this narrative is shaped by both theological frameworks and cultural practices, which often reinforce or challenge these ideals. Let's talk about cultural roots and the strong Black women narrative. The strong Black woman trope has historical roots in the way Black women were often positioned in American society. They were forced to endure the violence of slavery, systemic racism, and economic oppression. And within the Black Christian church, Black women were often seen as pillars of the community, especially in the face of adversity. Their strength was not only a survival mechanism, but also a theological virtue rooted in a narrative of spiritual fortitude. And when it comes to the role of Black women in the Black Christian church, historically, Black women in the Black Christian church have held key roles as deaconesses, missionaries, and leaders of women's ministries. They were often responsible for the emotional and spiritual upkeep of their communities, which amplified their image as strong, nurturing figures. This role, while empowering, could also be isolating. The expectation for Black women to maintain an unshakable faith and provide emotional and spiritual support to others could sometimes suppress their own vulnerabilities and needs. In some cases, church teachings emphasized a self sacrificial approach to womanhood, where Black women were encouraged to suffer in silence, which could perpetuate the idea that they were invulnerable or immune to emotional distress. And when we look at theological dimensions of this narrative, theologically, Black Christian churches, especially evangelical and Pentecostal denominations, often emphasized endurance, faith, and the ability to overcome hardship. For Black women in these settings, this focus on endurance can intersect with the strong Black woman narrative. And while the church provides a space for empowerment through faith, it can also reinforce the idea that women must endure in silence, which could clash with the need for emotional and mental health care. Some theological frameworks, particularly those rooted in the prosperity gospel or faith-based healing, might inadvertently contribute to the strong Black woman stereotype by positioning emotional and physical hardship as a test of faith. The pressure to always appear strong, faithful, and victorious could be compounded by these teachings, making it harder for Black women to acknowledge or express weakness or struggle. And so the strong Black woman narrative is a double-edged sword of strength. You see, the strong Black woman narrative can be a double-edged sword of strength. While the strong Black woman narrative can empower Black women by recognizing their resilience, it can also be burdensome. The expectation that they must always be strong and put others' needs before their own can lead to burnout, isolation, and neglect of their own emotional and spiritual well-being. In the Black Christian church, this narrative can sometimes be exasperated by the lack of space to address mental health concerns or to acknowledge vulnerability without being perceived as weak or faithless. So, my point today is that we must change the narrative, right? We must have a changing narrative. Recent shifts in both the broader culture and within the Black church have led to more nuanced conversations about mental health, self-care, and the emotional well-being of Black women. Leaders and scholars within the Black church have started to reframe the idea of strength, emphasizing that strength does not mean invulnerability. Women are being encouraged to take care of themselves, seek therapy, and acknowledge their own needs. Some churches are beginning to dismantle the strong Black woman stereotype and offering more space for Black women to express vulnerability, rest, and seek support. This includes addressing mental health in the pulpit, holding community workshops, and creating support groups, specifically for Black women. So, what is the conclusion of the matter today? Well, the intersection of the strong Black woman narrative and the Black Christian church is both empowering and constraining. And while the church offers a framework for resilience and endurance, it can also inadvertently uphold a narrative that may limit Black women from fully expressing their vulnerabilities. A reimagined church would be that which balances strength with compassion, care, and space for emotional expression, because this could help to reshape this narrative in a healthier, more sustainable way for Black women. Well, thank you for being with me today. Listen, whatever you do, don't forget to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And I hope to see you this time next year in Jerusalem. God bless.